Women and Your Words. Text by Cristiana Duarte. Mary Shelley was only 19 years old when imagined and wrote the story that will be considered the initial mark of science fiction in literature. According to biographers about her, Mary would have been challenged by two poets, Lord Byron and Percy Bysshe Shelley, with whom she would marry, to write a horror tale. The story, known worldwide but not always associated with the authorship of a woman, tells the path of Victor Frankenstein, a scientist who gave life to a monster in a conflicted relationship that highlights human dilemmas. The literary genre inaugurated by a woman was soon dominated by men and reflects in publications and stories the characteristics of a machismo society. The Foundation by Isaac Asimov, considered by critics, also for the most part, Man, as one of the main works of science fiction, has only one female character, who does not even have a line in the narrative. Thus, women were being deprived of this segment and consequently of the right to share their imagined words. Several women have faced and face prejudice and the barriers imposed to publish science fiction stories. Even so, we can celebrate these women who dared to create new words, or, as in the case of Margaret Atwood, author of The Handmaid's Tale, who decided that this story would be based on real events, providing us with a despotic story that causes us true amazement at the possibility of happening, or rather, repeating itself. Another great author who, besides the gender barrier, also crossed the race barrier to become a great writer, Octavia Butler, author of the classics such as Kindred, The Parable of Sower, and The Parable of the Talents, manages to transpose their experiences, bringing reflections on racism, religion, and the future, or past, of human society. Ursula K. Le Guin, a renowned science fiction writer, delivered the memorable speech of the importance of imagining during the National Book Awards, USA, in 2014. Hard times are coming, when we will be wanting the voices of writers who can see alternatives to how we live now, can see through our fear-stricken society and its obsessive technologies to other ways of being, and even imagining real grounds for hope. We will need writers who can remember freedom, poets, visionaries, realists of a larger reality. Very current speech for the period of world pandemic that we live. In fact, moments that are very similar to science fiction narratives. Events that change the whole human trajectory that forces us to reinvent. So, let us continue inspired by these women who are ahead of the time, imagining other eras, other words, other people, and let's imagine, let's create, write, publish, read, invent, in short, move on. Some references from authors have been presented here, which have become more popular lately, recognizing that there is a production of women to be explored and encouraged, as it is incredible to exist in a world that includes the existence of words, where the anarchist Shevak discovers the theory of simultaneity, where we can accompany Laurie founding the city of Acorn and creating Earthseed community. Recognize many of the paths that led offered to resist, and discover a monster too human, like Frankenstein.